My beloved child, listen to me closely. There is a stirring in your spirit right now, a quiet urgency you cannot ignore. You have felt it in the stillness of the night and in the rush of your busy day. It is like a gentle knock at the door of your heart, persistent and steady. That stirring is not random. It is my voice calling you to act quickly, because this moment cannot be delayed. I see the hesitation within you. I see the way you pause, telling yourself you will respond tomorrow, or next week, or when you feel more ready. But my child, readiness is not what I require. I require your trust. There are moments in your life that carry divine timing, and this is one of them. This is not a season for waiting in the shadows of doubt. This is a moment for movement. You have prayed for change. You have asked me for direction, for breakthrough, for clarity. And now that the answer begins to unfold before you, fear whispers, wait. Comfort says, stay where you are. But I am telling you, with love and certainty, that delay will not bring you peace. Obedience will. There are opportunities before you that are fragile like morning dew. If you hesitate too long, they will evaporate. Not because I am punishing you, but because seasons shift. Doors open and close according to divine timing. I am opening something for you now. I am aligning circumstances, softening hearts, preparing paths. But you must step forward. Do not mistake this urgency for pressure. I am not rushing you in anxiety. I am inviting you into alignment. When I say act quickly, I am protecting you from regret. I am guiding you away from stagnation. You have lingered in this place long enough. You have circled the same mountain of indecision. Now is the time to move beyond it. Imagine a child standing at the edge of a river, afraid to step in because the water feels cold. The longer they wait, the more intimidating it seems. But the moment they step in, they realize the water carries them gently. That is what I am asking of you. Step in. Do not delay. There are blessings attached to this moment. There is growth waiting on the other side of your yes. If you wait for perfect clarity, you will wait forever. I give light for the next step, not the entire staircase. Trust the light I have already given you. My beloved child, something important is unfolding. This is not the time to shrink back. This is not the time to postpone obedience. The clock of destiny is ticking, not in fear, but in purpose. I am calling you forward now. Act quickly, because what I am doing in your life cannot be delayed. My beloved child, the urgency you feel is not chaos. It is not confusion. It is not anxiety trying to control you. It is my gentle nudge upon your spirit. I speak in ways that are quiet yet unmistakable. I do not always shout through thunder. Often, I whisper through your thoughts, through a sudden clarity, through a deep inner knowing that will not leave you alone. You have sensed it, have you not? That feeling that something must change. That awareness that a conversation needs to happen. That idea that keeps returning to your mind even after you try to dismiss it. You call it coincidence. You call it overthinking. But I call it invitation. I place divine nudges within your heart like seeds. At first, they are small, easy to ignore. But the more you try to silence them, the stronger they grow. Not to disturb you, but to awaken you. I am not trying to make you uncomfortable without reason. I am leading you toward freedom, toward growth, toward the next chapter I have already prepared for you. Sometimes my nudge feels like restlessness. You may look around at your life and think, everything seems fine. Why do I feel unsettled? That unsettled feeling is not dissatisfaction with blessings. It is the awareness that you have outgrown your current space. A bird cannot stay in the nest forever. There comes a moment when the stirring inside the wings is stronger than the fear of falling. Other times my nudge feels like peace that does not make logical sense. You may consider something that scares you, yet deep within there is calm. That calm is me. I am telling you that though the step is new, you are safe in my hands. I speak through repetition. When the same message appears through different avenues, pay attention. When a thought aligns with your prayers, when wise counsel echoes what I have already placed in your heart, when opportunities appear unexpectedly yet perfectly timed, know that I am orchestrating more than you can see. Do not confuse my urgency with panic. Panic pushes you into fear. My urgency pulls you into purpose. Panic drains you. My call strengthens you. If what you feel draws you closer to trust, courage, and love, it is from me. Think of a shepherd guiding a sheep along a narrow path. The shepherd does not drive the sheep with harshness. He taps gently, guiding them away from cliffs they cannot see. My nudge is like the tap. I see dangers you do not. I see opportunities beyond your sight. I am guiding you, step by step, not to overwhelm you, but to protect you and elevate you. You may ask, but what if I am wrong? What if this is only my imagination? My beloved, when your heart is surrendered to me, I am faithful to guide you. I do not play games with your destiny. I do not hide my will from you while expecting you to guess. I guide those who seek me sincerely. The key is responsiveness. A nudge ignored becomes faint over time. Not because I stop speaking, but because your heart grows accustomed to postponing obedience. Sensitivity to my voice grows through action. When you respond quickly, you sharpen your spiritual hearing. When you delay, doubt grows louder. I want you to recognize that this moment is not random. The stirring within you is sacred. The thought that will not leave you alone carries purpose. I am inviting you to trust that inner whisper more than the loud noise of your fears. Lean into it. Sit quietly and ask me to confirm what you sense. I will. I am not distant. I am near, closer than your breath. The same voice that comforts you in sorrow is the voice that now urges you forward. My beloved child, you are not being pushed into uncertainty. You are being pulled into destiny. The nudge you feel is my loving hand at your back. Do not resist it. Do not drown it in distraction. Listen. Recognize it. Respond to it. For when I whisper, it is because I trust you to hear me. And when I urge you to act, it is because I have already prepared the ground ahead of you. My beloved child, I must speak to you about something subtle yet powerful, the quiet danger of delay. Not the kind of delay that comes from wisdom or patience, but the kind that grows from fear, comfort, or endless overthinking. Spiritual procrastination does not announce itself loudly. It disguises itself as caution. It whispers later will be better. But later is not always promised. Let me tell you a story. There was once a traveler who came upon a beautiful door standing alone in a wide field. The door was open, and warm light spilled out from within. He felt drawn to it, sensing that something wonderful waited on the other side. But he hesitated. I will return tomorrow, he said. I need more time to prepare. When he returned the next day, the door was gone. The field was empty. The opportunity had passed, not because he was unworthy, but because the moment had moved on. My child, life holds doors like that. I open them in specific seasons. I create windows of grace, moments where obedience carries unusual power. When you delay without reason, you risk missing the fullness of what I intended for that time. Understand this clearly. I am not condemning you. I am not watching with anger when you hesitate. I am guiding you because I love you. Delay does not make me withdraw my love, but it can delay the joy, growth, and breakthrough I have prepared for you. Spiritual procrastination often begins with small compromises. I will forgive them later. I will start that calling next month. I will step out when I feel braver. But courage is not something you wait to feel. It is something that grows when you act. Healing does not always come before obedience. Often, it follows it. When you postpone what I have placed on your heart, something inside you becomes heavier. You feel stuck. You wonder why peace seems distant. It is not because I have left you. It is because you are lingering in a place you were meant to pass through. Think of a river that is meant to flow. When it is blocked, the water becomes stagnant. It loses its frankness. Your spirit is designed to move with me. When you move, you remain alive and vibrant. When you stall in fear, you begin to feel restless and drained. Delay also gives doubt more time to grow. The longer you sit with fear, the louder it becomes. It begins to create scenarios that were never real. It builds mountains out of small hills. If you had acted when I first nudged you, you would have discovered that the obstacle was not as large as it appeared. My beloved, I do not call you to rush blindly. But when I make something clear, when the path is illuminated before you even slightly, do not retreat. The first step may be small. It may feel uncertain. But it is better to take a small obedient step than to stand still waiting for perfect clarity. There is also something else you must understand. Obedience strengthens your spiritual muscles. Each time you respond quickly to my voice, you build trust. You learn that I am faithful. You learn that I catch you when you leap. But when you delay repeatedly, hesitation becomes a habit. I am calling you out of that habit now, not with harshness but with compassion. I see the reasons you hesitate. I know the disappointments you have faced before. I understand why you want guarantees. But faith does not grow in guarantees. It grows in movement. My child, do not let another opportunity fade into regret. Do not look back one day and say, I wish I had listened sooner. I am speaking clearly to you now because I desire fullness for your life, not fragments. Act when I stir your heart. Forgive when I prompt you. Begin when I instruct you. Speak when I encourage you. The danger is not in trying and failing. The greater danger is never trying at all. You are not meant to live in the waiting room of indecision. You are meant to walk boldly into the rooms I have opened for you. Do not delay what I have ordained for this moment. My beloved child, there are moments in your life that carry a special weight. They are not louder than other days. They do not always arrive with signs in the sky. Yet in the spirit, they shine brightly. This is one of those moments. The window of grace is open before you now, and it will not remain open forever. I want you to understand what I mean by a window of grace. It is a divine alignment of time, opportunity, readiness, and favor. It is when the ground has been prepared beneath your feet, when hearts have been softened around you, when circumstances are quietly shifting in your favor, even if you cannot yet see it. It is when I, in my wisdom, have arranged details behind the scenes for your good. You often think that divine timing means waiting for years. And yes, there are seasons of waiting, but there are also seasons of movement. Just as there is a time to plant and a time to harvest, there's a time to prepare and a time to act. If a farmer refuses to plant during the right season, he cannot expect a harvest later. The soil does not stay ready forever. Right now, something is ready. You may not feel completely prepared. You may still have questions. But readiness is not about perfection. It is about alignment. And I'm aligning you. Picture a window in a quiet room. When it opens, fresh air rushes in. Light fills the space. But if you ignore it long enough, the window may close again, and the room returns to stillness. The air becomes stale. The light fades. My child, I have opened a window in your life. I am sending clarity, opportunity, and courage through it. Do not sit in the dimness when light is pouring in. This window of grace is not meant to create pressure in you. It is meant to awaken expectancy. I am not forcing your hand. I am inviting your response. I have done what only I can do. Now I am asking you to do what only you can do. You see, I will not override your will. Love does not control. Love invites. I present you with opportunity, but you must choose to walk through it. When you move during a window of grace, you will notice something remarkable. What once felt difficult begins to flow. What once seemed impossible becomes manageable. Doors open more easily. Conversations unfold more smoothly. Strength appears when you need it most. That is because grace is carrying you. There are seasons when you strive and strain, trying to force outcomes. That is not this season. This is a season of cooperation. I have prepared the path, but you must step onto it. Do not assume that if you miss this moment, another identical one will come. Life does not always repeat opportunities in the same form. I am merciful, yes. I am patient, yes. But timing still matters. When I stir urgency within you, it is because heaven's rhythm is moving. You have prayed for acceleration. You have asked for doors to open. Now that they are opening, do not shrink back because it feels unfamiliar. Growth always feels unfamiliar at first, but unfamiliar does not mean unsafe. Trust that I see beyond your sight. Trust that I understand the timing better than you do. I would not urge you forward if the ground were unstable. I would not invite you to act if I had not already gone before you. My beloved child, breathe deeply and recognize this sacred hour. The air feels different because it is. The light seems brighter because it is. The invitation is clear because I am making it clear. Step through the window while it is open. Move while grace is flowing. Act while courage is rising in your heart. This is not the time to retreat into comfort. This is the time to step into purpose. The window of grace is open now. My beloved child, if you are honest with yourself, you will see that the greatest obstacle before you is not lack of ability, not lack of opportunity, not even lack of clarity. It is fear. Fear is the quiet chain around your ankles. Fear is the voice that magnifies risk and minimizes promise. Fear is the shadow that grows larger the longer you stare at it. But I want you to understand something deeply. Fear is not from me. I do not plant fear in your heart when I call you forward. I plant vision. I plant hope. I plant possibility. Fear comes when your mind tries to calculate every outcome without me in the equation. It whispers, what if you fail? What if you lose? What if you are not enough? Yet it never asks, what if you succeed? What if you grow? What if this is the breakthrough you prayed for? Fear has a way of freezing you in place. It convinces you that staying where you are is safer than stepping into something new. But staying still when I am calling you forward is not safety. It is stagnation. And stagnation slowly drains the life from your spirit. Imagine a child learning to walk. The first time they stand, their legs tremble. The ground feels unsteady. They look at the distance between themselves and the loving arms waiting for them. The distance feels enormous, but the parent does not scold them for trembling. The parent smiles and says, "Come." The parent is ready to catch them if they fall. That is how I look at you. When I ask you to act quickly, I am not ignoring your fear. I am standing before you with open arms. I know your legs feel weak. I know your confidence feels fragile. But I also know that you will never learn to walk by clinging to the furniture of your comfort zone. Fear tells you that mistakes will define you. I tell you that growth will refine you. Fear tells you that rejection will destroy you. I tell you that rejection will redirect you. Fear tells you that you are alone. I tell you that I go before you, beside you, and behind you. My beloved, fear often disguises itself as wisdom. It says, "Be careful." It says, "Wait until you are more prepared." But there is a difference between wisdom and avoidance. Wisdom listens to my voice. Avoidance listens to insecurity. You have already prepared more than you realize. You have already grown through battles you once thought would break you. You have survived storms that felt endless. Why then do you doubt that I will sustain you in this next step? Fear shrinks when faced. It grows when fed. Each time you delay because of fear, you teach it that it has power over you. But each time you act despite fear, you weaken its hold. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is movement in the presence of it. I am not asking you to feel fearless. I am asking you to trust me more than you trust your fear. Remember, I see the full picture. You see only the next step. Fear comes from trying to predict the entire journey. Faith comes from trusting the one who already knows the destination. There are blessings waiting beyond this barrier of fear. There is confidence waiting on the other side of obedience. There is freedom waiting beyond the line you are afraid to cross. My beloved child, fear is loud, but it is not strong. My love is stronger. My presence is stronger. My promises are stronger. Do not allow fear to be the reason you miss what I am placing before you. Do not let hesitation steal the joy that could be yours. Step forward even if your voice shakes. Move even if your hands tremble. I am not measuring your strength. I am honoring your trust. The only thing slowing you now is fear. And fear cannot stand against a heart that chooses to believe me. My beloved child, there is something powerful hidden within simple obedience. You often look for dramatic signs and grand confirmations, but I tell you this truth gently and clearly. Small obedience unlocks great acceleration. The step that seems insignificant to you carries weight in the spirit realm. When you move at my instruction, even in the smallest way, you set unseen forces into motion. Think of a key placed into a lock. The key is small. It does not look impressive. Yet when it turns, doors that were once sealed swing open effortlessly. Obedience is that key. It may feel ordinary. It may even feel unimpressive. But when you turn it, pathways open that you could never force open by striving. You have asked me for progress. You have prayed for momentum. You have cried out for change. But acceleration does not begin with waiting for a miracle to fall into your lap. It begins with alignment. And alignment begins with obedience. When you obey quickly, you step into rhythm with me. Imagine two gears turning in perfect synchronization. When they align, movement becomes smooth and powerful. When they are misaligned, there is friction and delay. Obedience brings you into sync with my timing. It reduces unnecessary struggle. It allows what I have prepared to unfold with greater ease. There are times when you feel stuck, as though life has slowed to a crawl. You wonder why nothing seems to move forward. Often, the breakthrough you are seeking is waiting on one act of obedience. A phone call you need to make, a habit you need to release, a step of faith you need to take. These may seem small, but they are catalysts. Acceleration is not chaos. It is divine momentum. It is when one step leads naturally to another, when doors open one after the other, when provision meets you at the right time. But this flow begins when you respond. You may fear that your step is too small to matter, but I tell you, no act of obedience is ever wasted. The seed may be tiny, but the harvest can be vast. The first domino may seem insignificant, yet when it falls, it sets an entire chain into motion. My beloved, I do not ask you to leap across the entire journey in one bound. I ask for the next faithful step. When you take it, I meet you there. And when you take the next, I meet you again. Before you realize it, you are moving faster than you imagined possible, not because you forced it, but because you partnered with me. There is also protection in obedience. When you move according to my direction, you avoid unnecessary detours. You bypass obstacles that would have delayed you further. Obedience clears the path ahead. Remember the times in your life when you hesitated and everything seemed to stall. Now remember the times when you acted in trust, even with trembling hands, and things began to unfold unexpectedly well. That was not coincidence. That was alignment. I am inviting you into acceleration now. Not rushed anxiety, but purposeful movement. When you act quickly in response to my voice, you demonstrate trust. And trust invites greater responsibility, greater opportunity, and greater blessing. You do not need to understand every detail before you begin. You only need to obey what you already know. The next step is illuminated. Take it. My beloved child, heaven is ready to respond to your yes. Doors are waiting to open. Paths are waiting to clear. Strength is waiting to meet you in motion. Turn the key. Take the step. Speak the words. Release the habit. Begin the work. Obedience unlocks acceleration, and acceleration is waiting for you now. My beloved child, I want you to understand a sacred truth. The blessing you are praying for is often attached to movement. It is not hidden from you. It is not being withheld. It is waiting along the path of obedience. Many of my promises are activated not while you stand still, but while you step forward. There are moments when I ask you to move before you see the full outcome. This is not to test you cruelly. It is to grow your trust. If you could see every detail of what lies ahead, faith would not be required. But when you take a step without seeing the entire staircase, you demonstrate that you believe in my guidance more than your own sight. Imagine standing at the edge of a river. The water looks deep, and you do not know how you will cross. You stand there praying for the river to part, waiting for dry ground to appear before you move. But sometimes, my child, the waters begin to shift only when your foot touches the edge. A miracle meets you in motion. So many times you have asked me for change while remaining in the same place. You have prayed for new results while holding on to old patterns. But movement is an act of agreement. When you move, you are saying, I trust you enough to act. There is power in that agreement. Blessings are not random drops from the sky. They are often positioned along the road of obedience. As you walk, you discover provision waiting. You discover strength rising within you. You discover that what you feared was not as overwhelming as you imagined. Staying still may feel safe, but it keeps you from discovering what I have prepared. Movement stretches you, yes. It challenges you, yes. but it also reveals my faithfulness in ways comfort never can. Think of a lamp in a dark room. It does not light the entire city. It lights the space around you. As you walk forward, the light moves with you, revealing the next step. If you refuse to move until you see the entire path illuminated, you will remain in darkness longer than necessary. The blessing is not at the starting line. It is along the journey. When you choose to forgive, healing begins to flow. When you choose to speak, clarity begins to emerge. When you choose to step out, doors begin to respond. Your action creates space for my intervention. My beloved, I am not asking you to run recklessly. I am asking you to trust courageously. There is a difference. Recklessness ignores my voice. Courage listens and acts. There are people connected to your obedience who are waiting for you to move. There are opportunities tied to your decision that cannot unfold until you say yes. There are parts of your own character that will only develop through action. Movement does not mean you will not face resistance. But even resistance builds strength. Even obstacles teach endurance. And through it all, I remain with you. Do not underestimate the power of one step. The journey of 1,000 miles truly begins with a single stride. And once you begin, momentum builds. Confidence grows. Faith deepens. You are not meant to live frozen at the edge of possibility. You are meant to walk into promise. My beloved child, the blessing you seek is not far away. It is closer than you think, but it is waiting for your willingness to move. Step forward. Trust that I will meet you there. Trust that the ground will steady beneath your feet. Trust that what I have prepared cannot be taken from you when you walk in obedience. The blessing is attached to movement, and the moment you move, you will begin to see it unfold. My beloved child, there is another place where delay quietly steals from you, and it is in the area of your healing. I speak gently now, because I know the tenderness of your heart. Some of what you carry has been with you for a long time. Old wounds, silent disappointments, words spoken over you that still echo. You have learned to function while carrying them, but functioning is not the same as freedom. When I urge you to act quickly, I am not speaking only about opportunities and assignments. I am also speaking about your heart. Delayed healing delays freedom. You sometimes postpone healing because facing pain feels overwhelming. You tell yourself that time alone will fix it. You distract yourself. You stay busy. You minimize what happened. But wounds that are ignored do not disappear. They settle deeper. They shape your reactions. They influence your choices. They color the way you see yourself and others. I do not expose your pain to shame you. I reveal it to restore you. Imagine a splinter lodged in your skin. At first it feels small. You think you can tolerate it. But over time, it begins to irritate the area around it. It becomes inflamed. The longer it stays, the more sensitive the wound becomes. Removing it may sting for a moment, but that brief discomfort prevents prolonged infection. Healing requires courage to let me touch what hurts. My beloved, forgiveness is often the doorway to freedom, and forgiveness is rarely convenient. It feels unfair. It feels undeserved. But forgiveness is not about excusing what happened. It is about releasing yourself from its grip. When you hold on to resentment, you remain connected to the pain. When you release it to me, you break the chain. There are conversations you may need to have. There are prayers you need to pray honestly, without pretending you are stronger than you feel. There are tears you have held back that I am ready to collect. Do not delay this. Healing is not weakness. It is strength. It is choosing to no longer allow the past to define your present. It is deciding that your future deserves more than the residue of yesterday's wounds. Sometimes you delay healing because you fear what will surface. You fear that if you open the door to your emotions, everything will spill out uncontrollably. But I am not asking you to face it alone. I am with you in every memory. I was with you when it happened, even if you did not sense me clearly. And I am with you now, ready to mend what was broken. Freedom does not come from pretending you are fine. It comes from allowing me to work deeply within you. And when you allow that work to begin, you will feel lighter. You will notice your reactions soften. You will experience peace where there was once tension. There are blessings waiting beyond your healing. There are relationships that will flourish when you are no longer guarded. There are opportunities you will embrace when you no longer doubt your worth. Delayed healing keeps you tethered to survival mode. Immediate surrender to my restoring hand moves you into thriving. My beloved child, you deserve freedom. Not partial freedom. Not temporary relief. True, lasting freedom. But you must be willing to let me into the hidden rooms of your heart. Do not postpone this any longer. The pain you avoid today will only ask for attention tomorrow. Let this be the moment you say, I am ready to be healed. Bring me your wounds. Bring me your questions. Bring me your anger, your confusion, your sorrow. I am not intimidated by any of it. Act quickly in this area. Choose forgiveness. Choose honesty. Choose to let go. For when you allow me to heal you, the chains fall quietly. And when the chains fall, you will finally walk in the freedom that has always been meant for you. My beloved child, I need you to hear this with tenderness and clarity. You have already waited long enough. You have endured seasons of preparation. You have survived nights of uncertainty. You have wrestled with doubt and carried questions that seemed unanswered. I have seen every tear, every silent prayer, every moment when you wondered if anything would ever change. And through it all, you remained. There was a time when waiting was necessary. Waiting shaped you. Waiting strengthened you. Waiting taught you patience and deepened your faith. It was not wasted. Every delay you experienced had purpose. It refined your character. It exposed what needed to grow. It built resilience within you that you did not know you possessed. But this is not that same season anymore. You have mistaken preparation for permanence. You have grown so accustomed to waiting that movement now feels unfamiliar. You have adjusted to the rhythm of not yet so completely that when I whisper now, it feels almost disruptive. Yet, my beloved, the waiting season was never meant to become your identity. Think of a seed buried in the soil. For a time, it must remain hidden. It must endure darkness. It must push roots downward before it can rise upward. But if the seed remained buried forever, it would never become what it was designed to be. There comes a moment when it must break through the surface. You are that moment. The ground beneath you has already been prepared. The roots you needed have grown deep. The lessons you needed to learn have been planted within you. The strength you prayed for has developed quietly over time. Now the season is shifting. You have waited for confirmation. You have waited for perfect clarity. You have waited for ideal circumstances. But if you continue waiting for perfection, you will miss purpose. I am not rushing you recklessly. I am releasing you confidently. There were doors that had to remain closed before. There were conversations that were not ready to happen. There were opportunities that would have overwhelmed you had they arrived too soon. But now you are not who you were. You have grown. You have matured. You have endured. The waiting did not weaken you. It fortified you. Do not allow fear to convince you that staying and waiting is safer. There is a difference between patient trust and passive hesitation. Patient trust listens. Passive hesitation hides. You have waited long enough in that place of indecision. You have waited long enough carrying burdens you were meant to release. You have waited long enough to step into the calling that keeps tugging at your heart. It is time to move from preparation into participation. Imagine standing at the shoreline, watching the horizon. For years, you have prepared your boat. You have repaired the sails. You have studied the wind. But at some point, preparation must give way to sailing. The sea will not come to you. You must push away from the shore. My beloved child, the shore has held you long enough. The sea of opportunity is before you. Yes, it may feel vast. Yes, there may be waves. But I am the one who commands the waters. Trust that you are ready, even if you do not feel completely confident. Readiness is not the absence of nerves. It is the presence of growth. You have already waited long enough. The season of endless hesitation is ending. The chapter of bold response is beginning. Step forward now. Not because you feel forced, but because you are prepared. Not because you see every detail, but because you trust the one who does. The waiting shaped you, but it was never meant to hold you forever. My beloved child, this moment is not an accident. You did not stumble upon these words by chance. You did not arrive here randomly. This is a divine appointment. Before you woke up today, before you scrolled or searched or wondered, I knew you would be here listening. I arranged this meeting in the quiet places of eternity. There are appointments you schedule on your calendar, and then there are appointments written in the Spirit. This is one of those sacred encounters. I have brought you here because your heart is ready to hear what it has been resisting. The urgency you feel is not pressure from the world. It is my Spirit drawing you into alignment. You have asked me for guidance. You have whispered, "Show me what to do." And now I am answering clearly. Act quickly. Do not delay what I have already confirmed in your heart. Do not shrink back into old habits of postponing obedience. This appointment carries purpose. There are things that will not shift until you respond. There are doors that will not fully open until you step forward. I have already gone ahead of you. I have softened what seemed hard. I have prepared what seemed impossible. But your movement matters. Imagine sitting across from someone who holds the key to your next chapter. If you refuse to engage, if you refuse to speak, if you walk away before the conversation begins, the opportunity remains untouched. My beloved, I am sitting with you now. I am speaking plainly. The next chapter is ready. This is not about rushing blindly. It is about recognizing timing. When heaven marks a moment, it is wise to respond. The stirring in your spirit is confirmation. The repeated message in your heart is confirmation. The longing for change rising within you is confirmation. Do not treat this as another message you will reflect on later. Treat it as instruction. Treat it as invitation. Treat it as the turning point you prayed for. You have delayed long enough. You have analyzed long enough. Now it is time to decide. And as you stand in this divine appointment, I want you to understand something greater. What I am doing in your life is not only for you. When you respond to my voice, others are reached. When you act in obedience, light spreads further than you can see. There are countless hearts searching for hope, longing for confirmation that I am near. When you support the spreading of my word, you become part of that harvest. As it is written, I say to you, the one who sows generously will reap generously. When you give, You are not funding a platform. You are opening rivers of living water to thirsty souls. I am stirring you even now. If this message has awakened something in you, do not ignore that prompting. Let your response be prophetic. Through super thanks, through membership, through the PayPal link placed in the description and shown in the QR code, you plant seeds into fertile ground. Each seed becomes light in someone's darkness. Each offering becomes oil in another's lamp. Do not hesitate in this moment of grace. What you release in faith, I multiply in impact. As you sow, I bless your house with provision and peace. Step into this partnership with me. Act now and become a vessel through which my voice reaches the nations. This is your divine appointment. Do not walk away unchanged. My beloved child, there is something you must clearly understand. While you hesitate, opposition quietly gains ground. The enemy of your peace does not fear your potential alone. It fears your obedience. It trembles at your decisive yes, but it finds comfort when you delay. Delay creates space for doubt. Doubt invites confusion. Confusion weakens confidence. And when confidence weakens, you begin to question what I have already confirmed in your heart. This is how momentum is stolen, not through dramatic collapse, but through subtle postponement. The enemy rarely attacks you with obvious destruction. Instead, it whispers small suggestions. Wait a little longer. You are not ready yet. What if this is a mistake? These whispers sound reasonable. They appear cautious, but they are designed to keep you stationary while your destiny waits for movement. Understand this clearly. Darkness cannot overpower light, but it can distract it. If it cannot stop you completely, it will attempt to slow you down. If it cannot convince you to quit, it will try to convince you to postpone. My beloved, procrastination is not harmless when it comes to purpose. Every day you delay what I have asked you to do, you wrestle longer with unnecessary unrest. The assignment does not disappear. The calling does not dissolve. It lingers in your spirit, gently pressing against your comfort. Think of a garden left unattended. Weeds do not need permission to grow. They flourish in neglect. In the same way, doubt flourishes when obedience is delayed. The longer you wait, the more overgrown your thoughts become. What was once clear becomes tangled. But the moment you act, clarity returns. The enemy thrives in delay because delay feeds fear. When you step forward quickly, you cut off its strategy. You silence its whispers with action. You prove that your trust in me is greater than your anxiety about outcomes. You may wonder why resistance increases whenever you consider moving forward. That resistance is not proof that you should stop. It is often proof that your step matters. When you feel pressure to retreat, it is because your obedience carries weight. Remember, you are not battling alone. I stand with you. When you move at my instruction, you are shielded by my presence. Obstacles may appear, but they will not overpower you. Resistance may surface, but it will not define you. Delay keeps you circling the same ground. Action moves you into new territory. You have stayed in certain patterns longer than necessary. You have entertained fears that should have been dismissed. You have replayed scenarios that never came to pass. This cycle ends when you decide that obedience is more important than comfort. My beloved child, the enemy cannot stop what I have ordained, but it can attempt to stall your participation. Do not grant it that victory. Every time you respond quickly to my voice, you weaken the grip of hesitation. Every time you act in faith, you strengthen your spiritual authority. You become more confident, more decisive, more aligned. There is freedom in swift obedience. There is peace in decisive trust. There is strength in refusing to entertain delay. The enemy thrives in delay, but it retreats in the face of bold faith. So do not sit with fear longer than necessary. Do not analyze obedience until it loses its power. When I speak, respond. When I prompt, move. When I confirm, act. You are not fragile. You are guided. You are not alone. You are supported by heaven itself. Let this be the moment you break agreement with delay. Let this be the moment you step out of hesitation and into confidence. For when you move, darkness loses its foothold, and light advances through you. My beloved child, you often underestimate the power of small beginnings. You measure impact by visibility. You measure importance by size. But I do not see as you see. I see the ripple effect of a single obedient act. I see how one quiet decision can echo into eternity. You may think that what I am asking of you is too simple to matter. A conversation, a prayer, a step toward a new direction, and choice to let go. These things do not look dramatic. They do not make headlines. But in my hands, small acts become seeds of transformation. Consider a seed resting in your palm. It appears insignificant. It is dry and light, almost lifeless. But when planted in the right soil, watered faithfully, and given time, it becomes a tree that offers shade, fruit, and shelter. Birds build nests in its branches. Generations benefit from what once seemed so small. Obedience is like that seed. When you respond quickly to my voice, even in what seems minor, you set eternity into motion. You do not see the full outcome. You may never fully understand how far your decision travels. But I see it. I see the lives touched indirectly. I see the doors opened for others because you chose courage. There are moments when you hesitate because you believe your action will not make a difference. You think, what is one step? What is one choice? But I tell you, history is shaped by individuals who responded in small moments. A single word of kindness can alter someone's direction. A single decision to pursue your calling can inspire countless others to pursue theirs. A single act of forgiveness can heal generations of bitterness. You are connected to more than you realize. When you delay, the impact is also delayed. When you obey, the ripple begins. It spreads through your family, your community, even through strangers you may never meet. You are not acting in isolation. You are participating in something far larger than yourself. Do not despise the simplicity of the next step. Do not wait for a grand platform before you act faithfully. Faithfulness in the small prepares you for greater influence. Faithfulness in the unseen strengthens your character in ways applause never could. My beloved, I delight in small obedience. I notice when you choose integrity over compromise. I notice when you choose forgiveness over resentment. I notice when you choose courage over comfort. These choices build spiritual momentum. The enemy wants you to believe that if it is not dramatic, it is not valuable. But the greatest transformations often begin quietly. The sunrise does not crash into the sky. It gradually pushes back darkness until light fills the horizon. Your obedience may feel like that first thin line of light. Subtle, almost unnoticed, but it signals the beginning of something powerful. Do not wait until you feel important to act. Act because you are called. Do not wait until others affirm you. Move because I have spoken. Every time you take a small step in faith, you expand your capacity. You strengthen your resolve. You deepen your trust. You build a foundation that can sustain greater responsibility. You may not see the eternal impact today, You may not receive immediate confirmation, but I assure you, nothing done in obedience is ever wasted. My beloved child, the step before you matters more than you know. The seed in your hand carries potential beyond your imagination. Plant it. Speak the words. Make the decision. Begin the process. Release the burden. Take the first faithful action. Small acts create eternal impact, and eternity is already responding to your willingness to move. My beloved child, there is a reason your heart will not let this go. There is a reason. The idea keeps returning. The dream keeps resurfacing. The conviction keeps whispering. It is because your calling cannot wait forever. It has been patient, yes. It has allowed you time to grow, to heal, to learn. But now it is pressing gently against your comfort because the time to respond has come. You were not created randomly. You were not placed on this earth without intention. Before you took your first breath, purpose was woven into you. Gifts were placed within your spirit. Desires were planted in your heart that align with assignments only you can fulfill. When you ignore your calling, something inside you feels unsettled. You may try to distract yourself with busyness. You may convince yourself that practicality should override passion. But deep within, there remains a quiet ache, a knowing that there is more. That more is not greed, is destiny. You sometimes delay stepping into your calling because you feel unqualified. You look at others who seem more prepared, more experienced, more confident. You compare your beginning to someone else's middle. But comparison was never meant to guide you. Obedience was. Your calling is not dependent on perfection. It is dependent on willingness. Think of a musician who refuses to play because they fear missing a note. If they never begin, the melody remains trapped within them. The world never hears the song they were created to release. In the same way, when you silence your calling out of fear, something beautiful remains unexpressed. My beloved, there are people connected to your assignment who are waiting without even realizing it. There are lives that will be influenced by your obedience. There are conversations that will shift because you chose courage. There are chains that will break because you stepped into your role. You do not need to see the entire map to take the next step. I reveal purpose progressively. When you move, more clarity comes. When you act, more direction unfolds. Do not mistake delay for humility. Sometimes what you call humility is actually fear disguised in modest language. True humility says, I will trust the one who called me, even if I feel small. Yes, you may stumble. Yes, you may learn through trial and error. But growth requires engagement. Waiting for flawless confidence will only keep you still. Your calling is like a flame. If you ignore it, it does not disappear immediately. It flickers patiently. But over time, neglect can dim its brightness. I am stirring that flame again within you. I am breathing upon it so that it rises stronger. The world does not need another imitation. It needs the unique expression I placed inside you. It needs your voice, your perspective, your compassion, your leadership, your creativity. It needs the part you carry. My beloved child, you have delayed long enough. The preparation season has done its work. The lessons have shaped you. The waiting has strengthened you. Now it is time to participate. Your calling cannot wait indefinitely. It will not force you, but it will continue to knock. And the longer you ignore it, the louder the restlessness will grow. Step toward it. Even if the step is small, even if it feels uncertain, even if others do not fully understand. I understand. I placed it within you. Trust that I will equip you as you go. Trust that strength will meet you in motion. Trust that provision will align with obedience. You were not created to live on the sidelines of your own destiny. You were created to walk boldly in the purpose prepared for you. Your calling is not chasing someone else. It is waiting for you. Answer it now. My beloved child, before you ever considered taking this step, I had already gone before you. Before fear entered your mind, I had already mapped the terrain. Before you questioned your readiness, I had already prepared the path ahead. You are not walking into uncertainty alone. You are stepping into territory that I have already surveyed. I see the bends in the road. I know where the hills rise and where the valleys dip. Nothing you encounter will surprise me. Nothing will catch me off guard. When I urge you to act quickly, it is not because I want you to rush blindly into chaos. It is because the path is ready. The timing is aligned. The ground has been prepared beneath your feet. Imagine a craftsman carefully building a bridge across a wide gap. Long before anyone walks across it, he has measured, reinforced, and secured every beam. When the moment comes for someone to cross, the bridge is stable, not because they see all its structure, but because it has already been completed. In the same way, I have been building behind the scenes of your life. There were closed doors that protected you. There were delays that positioned you. There were disappointments that redirected you toward something better. You may have seen frustration. I saw alignment. Now the alignment is ready to support your movement. You often worry about what you cannot see. You imagine obstacles that may never appear. You try to calculate outcomes that are beyond your control. But I am not asking you to predict the entire journey. I am asking you to trust the one who has prepared it. The path ahead will not be without challenges. Growth rarely is. But challenges do not mean abandonment. They do not mean mistake. They mean development. They mean elevation. When you step forward in obedience, you will begin to notice confirmations, small reassurances, unexpected provision, timely encounters. These are reminders that you are not wandering. You are being guided. There will be moments when the path narrows and you must walk carefully. There will be moments when it widens and you can move freely. In every stretch I am present. My beloved child, I would not call you into something that I have not equipped you to handle. You may not feel fully capable, but capability grows through experience. I do not reveal the entire journey at once because trust deepens in daily dependence. You fear that you might step into something beyond your strength. But what if this next step is exactly what will reveal strength you did not know you possessed? The path ahead is not a trap. It is an invitation. I have already softened certain hearts you will encounter. I have already arranged conversations you will have. I have already prepared solutions for problems you have not yet faced. What feels unknown to you is known to me. Do not let the illusion of uncertainty keep you from the reality of preparation. You are not stepping into emptiness. You are stepping into what has been crafted for you. Lift your eyes from the ground of your doubts and look toward the horizon of promise. The road may stretch farther than you can see, but it is steady. My beloved, walk with confidence. Not because you understand every detail, but because you trust my authorship of your story. I have prepared the path ahead. The bridge is built. The door is open. The timing is set. And now take the step. Trust that each footfall will land where it is meant to. Trust that even if the terrain shifts, my hand will steady you. You are not late. You are not lost. You are not unprepared. You are invited. And the path before you is ready. My beloved child, there is a quiet battle happening within you. It is not visible to others, but I see it clearly. It is the battle between trust and doubt, between what I have spoken to your heart and what fear tries to argue against it, between faith in my promises and reliance on your limited understanding. Doubt is not proof that you lack faith. It is proof that you are human. But doubt must not become your guide. You were never meant to follow the voice of uncertainty. You were meant to follow me. Your mind tries to calculate every possible outcome. It replays worst-case scenarios. It imagines conversations that have not happened and failures that have not occurred. It gathers fragments of past disappointments and builds arguments from them. But your mind does not see the full picture. It sees only pieces. I see the whole. Trust does not mean you will never feel unsure. It means you choose to lean into my character when your emotions shift. It means you decide that my faithfulness in the past is evidence for your future. Think back to moments when you felt overwhelmed before. Times when you believed you would not make it through. Yet here you are. You survived. You grew. You learned. Those victories were not accidents. They were reminders of my steady presence in your life. My beloved, your doubts speak loudly because they are fueled by fear. But my voice is steady because it is rooted in truth. Doubt asks, what if this goes wrong? Trust says, even if it is difficult, I will not be abandoned. You sometimes want guarantees. You want certainty before obedience. You want assurance before action. But faith rarely works that way. Faith grows when you step without seeing everything clearly. Imagine a child learning to swim. At first, the water feels intimidating. The child clings to the edge, afraid to release their grip. But the instructor stands nearby, ready to support. A child must choose to trust enough to let go of the wall. Only then can they discover that they are capable of floating. You are clinging to the edge of what feels familiar. I am inviting you to release your grip on doubt and trust that I will hold you. Trusting me does not mean ignoring wisdom. It means seeking my direction above your fears. It means quieting the inner noise long enough to remember who I am. I am not unstable. I am not unpredictable in my goodness. I do not lead you toward harm. Even when the path stretches you, it shapes you for something greater. Doubt magnifies risk. Trust magnifies promise. When you trust me more than your doubts, something shifts inside you. Your posture changes. Your breathing steadies. Your decisions become clearer. You stop chasing reassurance from every external voice and start resting in my presence. You will not silence doubt completely, but you can choose which voice you obey. My beloved child, I am worthy of your trust, not because circumstances are always easy, but because my love for you is unwavering. I have never abandoned you. I have never stopped guiding you. Even in seasons when you felt distant, I was closer than you realized. Do not allow temporary uncertainty to overshadow eternal faithfulness. Lean into me. Speak your fears honestly, but do not let them rule you. Bring your questions to me, but do not let them paralyze you. Trust me more than your doubts. For when you do, courage rises, clarity strengthens, and the path that once seemed intimidating becomes an adventure of growth. You are safe in my hands. Even when you cannot see the entire journey, you can trust the one who walks it with you. Choose trust now. My beloved child, I have spoken to you about movement, about obedience, about trust. Now I must gently show you the other side, the cost of inaction. Not to frighten you, not to shame you, but to awaken you fully to what is at stake. Every choice carries weight. Action carries consequence, but so does inaction. When you decide not to move, not to respond, not to obey, that decision shapes your future just as surely as any bold step would. Inaction feels safe because it avoids immediate risk. It keeps you in familiar territory. It shields you from possible embarrassment or temporary failure. But it also quietly steals growth. It postpones breakthrough. It allows opportunities to pass by unclaimed. Imagine a field that is never planted. Season after season, the soil remains untouched. No seeds are sown. No effort is made. The field may look calm, undisturbed. But when harvest time arrives, there is nothing to gather. The absence of planting guarantees the absence of fruit. In the same way, refusing to act when I have prompted you ensures that certain blessings remain unrealized. Not because I withhold them, but because participation is required. You may tell yourself, I will act later. But later has a way of becoming never. The longer you delay, the more comfortable hesitation becomes. It forms a pattern. It reshapes your identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who always tries, always begins, always commits. That is not who you are meant to be. The cost of inaction is not always dramatic. It is subtle. It is the slow fading of enthusiasm. It is the quiet frustration that builds when you sense you are capable of more but remain where you are. It is the heaviness that settles in your spirit when purpose goes undersued. My beloved, I do not measure you by productivity. I measure your heart. But when your heart hears my call and refuses to respond, tension grows within you. Attention is not punishment. It is misalignment. There was once a servant entrusted with something valuable. Instead of using it, he buried it out of fear. He thought he was protecting what he had been given. But in reality, he prevented growth. What was meant to multiply remained stagnant because fear dictated his choice. You have been entrusted with gifts, opportunities, influence, compassion, vision. When you bury them in hesitation, they do not flourish. They remain dormant. And yet, I speak this to you not with disappointment, but with hope. Because the cost of inaction is reversible the moment you choose action. The field can still be planted. The gift can still be unwrapped. A conversation can still be started. The first step can still be taken. Do not allow regret to become your companion. Do not look back years from now and wonder what might have been if you had simply trusted me sooner. You are not powerless. You are not trapped. You are not stuck beyond rescue. But you must recognize that standing still has consequences just as surely as moving forward does. My beloved child, you were created for engagement, not avoidance. For participation, not passivity. For courage, not constant retreat. The cost of inaction is a life half lived, a story half written, a color half expressed. I desire fullness for you. I desire fruitfulness. I desire that when you look back on your journey, you see evidence of bold trust. Do not let fear charge you interest on opportunities you never pursued. Act now. Break the pattern of hesitation. Refuse to let inaction define your story. For when you choose movement over stagnation, growth begins again. And the life waiting for you on the other side of obedience is far richer than the comfort you leave behind. My beloved child, courage is not something you wait to feel. It is something that is born the moment you decide. Many believe courage arrives first, and then action follows. But often, it is the opposite. Decision comes first. Then courage rises to meet it. You have been waiting to feel stronger, braver, more certain. You have told yourself that once fear disappears, you will move. But fear rarely disappears before obedience. It fades after you step forward. Think of someone standing before a long bridge covered in mist. They cannot see the other side. They do not know exactly how steady it is. From where they stand, the bridge seems intimidating. But the moment they place one foot onto it, something shifts. They feel its strength beneath them. With each step, their confidence grows, not because the mist clears entirely, but because they experience support under their feet. That is how courage works. It does not shout before you move. It whispers as you step. My beloved, the power of decision is greater than you realize. When you decide, you draw a line in the sand. You declare to fear that it no longer controls your direction. You tell doubt that it may speak, but it will not lead. Indecision drains you. It pulls your energy in opposite directions. It keeps you suspended between comfort and calling. But the moment you decide, your focus sharpens. Your strength gathers. Your spirit aligns. Decision is a doorway. On one side is hesitation, and the other side is growth. You may fear making the wrong choice. You may worry about consequences. But paralysis is not protection. Refusing to choose is itself a choice to remain where you are. I am not asking you to make reckless decisions. I'm asking you to make faithful ones. To choose trust over endless analysis. To choose obedience over endless debate. Courage does not mean you feel no fear. It means fear no longer holds the final vote. You have faced difficult things before. There were moments when you thought you could not endure, yet you did. There were challenges that seemed impossible, yet you overcame them. Courage was present then, even if you did not name it. That same courage is available to you now. My beloved child, I have placed resilience within you. I have planted strength in your spirit. But strength is revealed when exercised. Courage grows when used. When you decide to forgive, courage is born. When you decide to step into your calling, courage awakens. When you decide to trust me despite uncertainty, courage expands. There is power in a simple yes. Yes to obedience. Yes to growth. Yes to movement. That yes may tremble as it leaves your lips. It may not sound confident, but heaven responds to it. The moment you decide, unseen forces begin to align. Opportunities begin to shift. Provision begins to position itself. What once felt distant begins to draw near. Do not underestimate the authority of your decision. My beloved, stop waiting for the feeling. Make the choice. Let today be the day you say, I will move forward. Let today be the day you refuse to remain suspended between fear and faith. Courage will not abandon you once you choose obedience. It will rise within you step by step. The mist may not clear immediately, but the bridge will hold. And as you walk, you will discover that the strength you were searching for was already within you, waiting for the moment you decided to act. My beloved child, as you stand on the edge of this decision, I want you to feel this truth deeply. You are not alone in this. Not in your uncertainty. Not in your courage. Not in your obedience. I am with you in every step you are about to take. Sometimes the weight of action feels heavy because you believe everything depends on you. You imagine that success or failure rests entirely on your shoulders. That if you misstep, everything will collapse. But that is not how this works. You are not carrying your destiny alone. I am actively involved in your journey. When a child learns to ride a bicycle, they may feel as though they are balancing entirely by themselves. But often, a loving parent runs alongside them, steadying the seat until the child gains confidence. Even when the parent lets go, they remain close, ready to catch them if they stumble. My presence with you is even closer than that. You may not always see me, but you will see the evidence of my support. When you step forward and strength rises unexpectedly, that is me. When you face a challenge and find calm where panic once lived, that is me. When the right words come to you at the right moment, that is me. You have faced seasons before when you felt abandoned, times when silence surrounded you and answers seemed distant. But even in those seasons, I never left. I was working in ways you could not perceive. I was protecting you from outcomes you did not understand. Now, as you prepare to act, know that you are stepping into partnership with me. I do not send you ahead alone. I walk beside you. I prepare the path before you. I guard what lies behind you. When obstacles arise, I give you wisdom to navigate them. When doors close, I redirect you toward better ones. You are not stepping into uncertainty unsupported. You are stepping into growth accompanied. Loneliness often amplifies fear. It makes obstacles appear larger than they are. It convinces you that if you fall, no one will catch you. But I am closer than your breath. When you whisper a prayer, I hear it instantly. When your heart trembles, I feel it. Even when others do not understand your journey, I understand. Even when others question your decisions, I affirm your obedience. My beloved child, lean on me. When doubt tries to creep in, remember my promises. When fatigue threatens your resolve, rest in my presence. When confusion clouds your thoughts, return to my voice. You do not need to carry every answer. You do not need to control every outcome. You only need to remain connected to me. There will be moments when you feel stretched. Moments when you wonder if you have taken on too much. In those moments, do not retreat inward in isolation. Reach upward. I am ready to sustain you. Strength is not found in pretending you can do everything alone. Strength is found in knowing you do not have to. I have placed people in your life who will support you. I will bring encouragement at the right time. I will send confirmation when you need reassurance. I will provide wisdom when decisions feel complex. You are not walking into this alone. Every step you take in obedience is accompanied by my presence. Every risk you take in faith is covered by my grace. Every act of courage is supported by my strength. My beloved, let this truth steady your heart. You are not alone in this. Move forward with confidence, not because you are strong by yourself, but because you are upheld by me. And wherever you go, I go with you. My beloved child, when obedience meets readiness, acceleration begins. You have walked through seasons of slow growth. You have endured times when progress felt almost invisible. You planted seeds and saw little movement. You prayed and waited. You prepared in quiet places where no one applauded. But hear me now, acceleration is coming. Acceleration does not mean chaos. It does not mean rushing without wisdom. It means that what once moved slowly will begin to gain momentum. It means that doors that seemed stuck will begin to open more easily. It means that effort will start producing visible fruit. There are seasons in life when I focus on building your roots. Roots grow in hidden soil. They take time. They stretch downward before anything rises upward. During that period, you may feel forgotten. You may feel overlooked. But I was strengthening your foundation. Now the season is shifting. When a tree's roots are deep enough, growth above the ground can happen quickly. Leaves appear. Branches stretch outward. Fruit begins to form. What looks sudden to others is actually the result of long preparation. Your acceleration will look sudden to some. They will not see the nights you wrestled with doubt. They will not see the prayers whispered in solitude. They will not see the discipline you practiced when no one was watching. But I see it all, and I reward faithfulness in due time. My beloved, obedience activates momentum. Each step you have taken has aligned you further with my timing. And when alignment is complete, movement increases. Do not fear acceleration. Sometimes you grow comfortable with slow seasons because they feel predictable. But growth requires expansion. Expansion requires adjustment. As things begin to move faster, you must remain grounded in me. Acceleration will test your focus. Opportunities may multiply. Responsibilities may increase. Influence may expand. In those moments, do not forget the one who carried you through the quiet seasons. Stay anchored in my presence. There is a difference between forced progress and divine acceleration. Forced progress exhausts you. Divine acceleration energizes you. It feels like doors opening naturally, like connections forming effortlessly, like clarity sharpening quickly. You may already sense it beginning. Small shifts, subtle confirmations, conversations aligning, ideas flowing. These are early signs of movement. But remember this: acceleration follows obedience, not avoidance. If you retreat now, you slow what has begun to build. If you hesitate now, you delay what is ready to unfold. Trust the pace I set. When acceleration comes, it is because the groundwork has been completed. It is because you are ready to handle what is expanding. I do not release increase before preparation. I do not send growth without foundation. My beloved child, do not shrink when things begin to move quickly. Do not doubt when progress seems sudden. You have prayed for this. You have asked for breakthrough. And breakthrough often feels like acceleration. Stay steady. Stay humble. Stay attentive to my voice. There may be moments when you feel overwhelmed by the speed of change. In those moments, return to me. I will help you manage what I have released. I will give you wisdom to steward growth well. Acceleration is not meant to stress you. It is meant to advance you. The seeds you planted are about to sprout visibly. The steps you took in faith are about to produce tangible results. The doors you knocked on are about to swing open. My beloved, remain ready. Keep moving. Keep trusting. For acceleration is coming, not by your striving but by my design. And when it unfolds, you will look back and realize that every slow season prepared you perfectly for this moment. My beloved child, more than speed, more than success, more than visible progress, this is about alignment. When I urge you to act quickly, it is not because I am impatient. It is because alignment brings peace, clarity, and power into your life in ways delay never can. Alignment means that your thoughts, your decisions, your actions, and your purpose move in harmony with my will. When you are aligned, you may still face challenges, but you no longer feel scattered. You no longer feel divided within yourself. There is a quiet steadiness that anchors you. Have you ever felt that inner tension when you knew what you should do but kept postponing it? That subtle unrest, that quiet pressure in your spirit. That is misalignment. It is not punishment. It is a signal. It is your spirit recognizing that you are slightly out of rhythm with the direction I am guiding you. Imagine the gears inside a clock. When they are synchronized, time flows smoothly. But if one gear slips out of place, the entire mechanism struggles. It may still move, but it does so with friction and inefficiency. When you delay obedience, your life continues, but with friction. Alignment removes that friction. When you act quickly on what I have spoken, something settles within you. You feel lighter. You feel clearer. You feel purposeful. Even if circumstances are not perfect, your spirit knows it is in the right place. My beloved, you were not designed to live divided. You were not created to carry the constant weight of unfinished obedience. Alignment restores flow. Sometimes you seek peace by avoiding difficult decisions. You think that if you ignore the issue, the discomfort will fade. But true peace does not come from avoidance. It comes from agreement with me. When you align with my direction, your energy becomes focused. Distractions lose their grip. Confusion begins to dissolve. You stop second-guessing every step because your heart knows it is walking in partnership with me. Alignment does not mean every detail of your life becomes effortless. It means your foundation becomes stable. It means you are no longer wrestling internally about whether you should move. There is power in agreement. When your will aligns with my will, doors that once resisted begin to cooperate. Opportunities that once felt forced begin to flow naturally. Relationships that once felt strained begin to stabilize. Even your thoughts begin to organize themselves around clarity rather than chaos. My beloved child, I am not calling you into pressure. I am calling you into alignment. You have felt the friction of delay long enough. You have felt the unrest of postponed decisions. You have carried the quiet tension of knowing you should move. Now imagine the relief of finally saying yes. Imagine the calm that comes when your inner voice and my voice are in harmony. Imagine the confidence that rises when you are no longer divided within yourself. This is what awaits you. Alignment is not about perfection. It is about willingness. It is about saying, I trust you enough to adjust my direction. And when you adjust, even slightly, heaven responds. My beloved, I desire wholeness for you. I desire that your life flows smoothly in the direction it was designed to move. I desire that you wake each day with clarity instead of confusion. Act quickly, not out of fear, but out of desire for alignment. Step into agreement with what you already know is true. Realign your choices with your calling. Realign your habits with your purpose. Realign your trust with my promises. For when you are aligned, acceleration becomes sustainable. Peace becomes consistent. And your path becomes clearer than ever before. This is about alignment. And alignment begins with your next yes. My beloved child, I want you to lift your eyes beyond this single moment and see the greater picture. What you do today is shaping what you will reap tomorrow. The harvest you desire depends on the seed you are willing to sow now. You long for growth. You long for breakthrough. You long for peace, stability, and fulfillment. But harvest is never accidental. It follows sowing. It follows action. It follows obedience. Imagine a farmer standing in a field at the beginning of planting season. The soil is ready. The weather is favorable. The tools are prepared. But if the farmer hesitates and says, I will plant later, the season will pass. When harvest time comes, there will be nothing to gather. Not because the ground was unwilling, but because the seed was never sown. My beloved, today is planting season. Every decision you make is a seed. Every act of courage is a seed. Every moment you choose obedience over fear is a seed. You may not see the harvest immediately, but what you plant now is growing beneath the surface. There are blessings you have been praying for that are tied to seeds you have not yet sown. You ask for deeper relationships, but hesitate to offer vulnerability. You ask for greater opportunities, but delay stepping into preparation. You ask for peace, but hold tightly to resentment. Artists follow sowing. Do not wait for guaranteed results before you plant. Seeds require faith. When you place them into the soil, you are trusting that growth will come even though you cannot see it yet. Some seeds take time to break through the ground. They work in hidden places first. Roots extend before shoots appear. In the same way, your obedience may not produce visible change immediately, but beneath the surface, transformation is already beginning. My beloved child, delay in planting does not increase the harvest. It postpones it. If you want a future filled with confidence, sow courage today. If you want a future filled with trust, sow obedience today. If you want a future filled with impact, sow faithfulness today. You cannot control the weather of life. You cannot control every circumstance, but you can control what you plant. Do not let fear keep your hands closed. An open hand releases seeds. A closed hand keeps them trapped. There may be times when planting feels costly. It may require letting go of comfort. It may require effort when you feel tired. But remember this: the discomfort of planting is temporary. The joy of harvest is lasting. And I am the one who brings increase. You are responsible for the sowing. I am responsible for the growth. When you act quickly in obedience, you align yourself with the rhythm of sowing and reaping. You step into partnership with my design for abundance. Do not underestimate today. It may look ordinary, but it carries eternal potential. A single seed placed into prepared soil can change the landscape of your future. My beloved, envision the harvest you desire. Picture the peace, the strength, the influence, the fulfillment. Now ask yourself, what seed must I plant today to see that tomorrow? Act on that answer. Speak the words. Make the decision. Take the step. Plant in faith, even if you cannot yet see the fruit. But the harvest you long for is not far away. It is already forming in response to the seeds you are willing to sow now. And when the season of reaping arrives, you will look back at this moment and realize that today's obedience made tomorrow's abundance possible. My beloved child, there are patterns in your life that did not begin with you, but they can end with you. There are cycles of fear, hesitation, insecurity, and delay that have repeated themselves quietly over time. You have seen them. You have felt them. You have promised yourself that next time will be different. Today is that different moment. Cycles continue when they go unchallenged. They gain strength when they are accepted as normal. But just because something has been repeated does not mean it is permanent. What has been learned can be unlearned. What has been tolerated can be transformed. Perhaps you have noticed a pattern of starting and stopping. You begin with enthusiasm, but when difficulty appears, you retreat. Or maybe you delay important conversations until opportunities fade. Or perhaps you repeatedly doubt yourself even after experiencing success. These are not permanent traits. They are habits of response. And habits can change. My beloved, cycles are broken not by wishing but by choosing differently. The moment you respond in a new way, the pattern begins to shift. Imagine a wheel spinning in the same direction for years. It feels natural. It feels automatic. But if someone grips that wheel firmly and turns it another way, the direction changes. It may require effort. It may feel uncomfortable at first. But once the turn is made, the entire course shifts. You have more authority over your direction than you realize. Some cycles are rooted in fear passed down through experiences or even generations. Some are rooted in disappointments that taught you to play small. Some are rooted in words spoken over you that limited your belief in yourself. But I did not create you to live confined by old patterns. When I say act quickly, part of what I mean is this. Do not let another opportunity slip away because you followed an old script. Do not allow the familiar cycle to dictate your response again. You are not bound to yesterday's reactions. There is power in awareness. Now that you see the pattern, you can interrupt it. When fear whispers, answer with trust. When hesitation rises, choose action. When self-doubt speaks, remember who you are in me. Breaking a cycle may feel uncomfortable at first. It may feel unfamiliar, but discomfort is often the sign of growth. Think of someone who has always walked a certain path through a field. The ground becomes worn. The trail feels easy because it is known. But if they decide to walk a new direction, the grass resists at first. The way is less defined. Yet with each step, a new path forms. Your new path begins with a single decision. My beloved child, you are not destined to repeat the same struggles. You are capable of change. You are capable of growth. You are capable of choosing differently today than you did yesterday. Do not wait for the perfect moment to break the cycle. This is the moment. Respond differently. Act boldly where you once retreated. Speak confidently where you once stayed silent. Trust where you once doubted. The cycle loses power the instant you refuse to cooperate with it. And as you break it, you not only change your own life, but you alter the trajectory of those connected to you. Others will see your courage. Others will benefit from your growth. My beloved, this is your turning point. You are not trapped in repetition. You are invited into renewal. Break the cycle today. Let this be the moment you choose a new direction. And watch as the path ahead begins to look different from every path behind you. My beloved child, you have grown comfortable on the level where you stand. It is familiar. It is manageable. You understand its limits and its boundaries. But deep within you, there is a quiet knowing that you were not meant to remain here forever. I am calling you higher. Higher does not always mean louder or more visible. It means deeper trust, greater maturity, stronger faith, broader vision. It means stepping beyond what you have already mastered and into what will stretch you. Climbing to higher ground requires effort. It requires leaving behind certain comforts. When you ascend a mountain, the air changes, the view expands, the perspective shifts. But the climb demands movement. It demands intention. You cannot remain at the base and experience the view from the summit. My beloved, there are thoughts you must rise above. Old insecurities that kept you small. Old disappointments that kept you cautious. Old identities that no longer fit who you are becoming. Higher ground requires letting go of lower expectations. Sometimes you hesitate because you feel unworthy of elevation. You question whether you truly belong in greater spaces. You wonder if you are capable of handling increased responsibility. But I do not call you higher without equipping you for the climb. Every challenge you have faced has strengthened your legs for this ascent. Every lesson you have learned has prepared your balance. Every delay you endured has built endurance within you. Now it is time to rise. Remaining where you are may feel safer, but it will not satisfy the longing inside you. That longing is not arrogance. It is alignment with growth. There are conversations you are ready to have at a higher level. There are opportunities you are prepared to steward. There are influences you are capable of carrying responsibly. But higher ground requires courage. It requires leaving behind certain habits that no longer serve you. It requires releasing relationships that keep pulling you back to old versions of yourself. It requires silencing voices that question your worth. When I call you higher, I am not asking you to climb alone. I ascend with you. I strengthen you at each step. When your breath feels short, I renew your strength. When the incline feels steep, I steady your footing. Do not fear the altitude. Yes, fewer people may understand your journey as you rise. Yes, the air may feel thinner at times, but the clarity at higher ground is worth it. From above, you see more clearly where you have been and where you are going. Distractions that once seemed large appear smaller from this perspective. Fear that once loomed over you shrinks in size. My beloved child, you are capable of more than you have allowed yourself to believe. Do not cling to lower ground out of habit. Do not shrink your vision because growth feels intimidating. I am calling you higher in your thinking, higher in your trust, higher in your discipline, higher in your purpose. A climb may require immediate action. It may require a bold step away from what is comfortable, but remaining where you are will not bring fulfillment. Elevation always begins with a decision. Decide that you will not settle. Decide that you will not stay confined by old limitations. Decide that you will rise when I call. The summit is not unreachable. It is simply waiting for your willingness. Take the first step upward, and as you do, you will discover that the strength to climb was within you all along, placed there by me, waiting for this moment to be used. My beloved child, as you prepare to move higher and step forward with courage, there is something you must understand clearly. You cannot carry everything with you into the next season. Some things that once served you are now slowing you down. Some weights that once felt necessary are now unnecessary burdens. When a runner prepares for a race, they do not strap heavy stones to their back. They remove excess weight. They choose clothing that allows freedom of movement. They understand that even small resistance can hinder speed. In the same way, if you are to move quickly in obedience, you must release what slows you down. Perhaps it is an old mindset that tells you you are not enough. Perhaps it is a habit that drains your energy and focus. Perhaps it is a relationship dynamic that keeps you anchored in past versions of yourself. Perhaps it is guilt from mistakes I have already forgiven. My beloved, you cannot accelerate while holding on to unnecessary weight. There are thoughts you replay that no longer deserve your attention. There are regrets you revisit that I have already redeemed. There are fears you entertain that have no authority over your future. Release them. Let go of the need to control every outcome. Let go of the expectation that everything must feel comfortable before you move. Let go of the voices that speak limitation over your life. You sometimes cling to what is familiar, even when it hinders you, because familiarity feels safe. But familiar does not always mean beneficial. Comfort does not always mean calling. If your hands are full of yesterday, they cannot receive what today offers. My beloved child, releasing is not loss when what you release was holding you back. It is liberation. Imagine trying to climb while gripping onto a heavy rope tied to the ground below. And no matter how strong you are, the tension will resist your progress. But the moment you untie that rope, movement becomes easier. Ask yourself honestly, what rope am I still holding? Is it bitterness that keeps you replaying old wounds? Is it insecurity that keeps you silent? Is it procrastination disguised as caution? Is it comparison that steals your confidence? You do not need these things for protection. I am your protection. There may be emotions you have grown attached to because they feel justified. But even justified emotions can become chains when they prevent growth. Release resentment so peace can enter. Release fear so courage can expand. Release doubt so clarity can sharpen. You are not being asked to abandon wisdom. You are being invited to abandon weight. My beloved, I will not force you to let go, but I will gently remind you that what you cling to determines how far you can go. When you release what slows you down, you create space for fresh strength. When you let go of old burdens, your steps become lighter. When you surrender unnecessary weight, your focus becomes clearer. Acceleration requires freedom of movement. You cannot run forward while constantly looking backward. Trust me with what you release. Trust that I will replace it with something better. Trust that what you let go of was never meant to define you. You were not created to carry the heaviness of yesterday into tomorrow. Let this be the moment you unclench your hands. Let this be the moment you drop the stones you have been carrying. Let this be the moment you decide that your future is worth more than your attachment to what holds you back. Release what slows you down, and feel the lightness that comes when you finally move unburdened into the purpose prepared for you. My beloved child, you have been waiting for a miracle as though it is something that will fall suddenly from the sky without your participation. You have been watching the horizon, hoping for dramatic change. But I tell you now, the miracle you seek is already in motion, and it begins when you move. So often, you imagine miracles as interruptions to the natural flow of life. And sometimes they are. But many miracles unfold through obedience, through steps taken in faith, through decisions made in trust. When you act, I act. Think of a door that has been closed for years. You stand before it praying that it will swing open. You wait for a sign. You wait for a sound. But sometimes, the miracle is not the door flying open on its own. Sometimes, the miracle is that when you reach for the handle, you discover it was unlocked all along. Movement reveals what waiting never could. There are miracles attached to your forgiveness. Miracles attached to your courage. Miracles attached to your obedience. They are not distant. They are positioned along the path of action. When you choose to speak truth instead of remaining silent, something shifts. When you decide to apply, to begin, to confront, to step out, and seeing gears begin to turn. Circumstances start adjusting. Conversations align. Opportunities respond. You may not see immediate fireworks, but do not mistake subtle shifts for small impact. Some of the greatest miracles begin quietly. Imagine the first crack in a wall that has stood for decades. It may seem minor, but that crack signals structural change. Over time, the entire barrier gives way. Your obedience creates cracks in barriers that once felt immovable. My beloved, you are not waiting for me to start working. I am already working. But your movement activates layers of what I have prepared. When you remain still out of fear, you delay the unveiling. When you step forward, you align with what is ready. Miracles are not always loud. Sometimes they are steady progress where stagnation once ruled. Sometimes they are unexpected peace where anxiety once dominated. Sometimes they are restored relationships where distance once existed. You may not recognize the miracle because it unfolds gradually. But when you look back, you will see how everything began to shift the moment you said yes. The miracle is not only in the outcome. It is in the transformation within you. As you move, your confidence grows. As you obey, your faith strengthens. As you release fear, your identity solidifies. You become someone who responds quickly, someone who trusts deeply, someone who walks boldly. That transformation is itself miraculous. My beloved child, stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop waiting for visible confirmation before you act. The miracle you desire is woven into your obedience. When you step, I meet you. When you trust, I sustain you. When you move, I multiply what you offer. Do not underestimate the power of forward motion. Even small steps carry divine momentum. You may feel like what you are doing is simple, but heaven responds to simple obedience. The waters begin to part when you approach them. The path begins to clear when you walk toward it. The breakthrough begins when you refuse to stay where you are. A miracle is not distant. It is not delayed. It is already forming around your decision. So move. Reach for the handle. Take the step. Speak the words. Release the burden. And watch as what once seemed impossible begins to unfold in ways you never anticipated. The miracle is in motion, and it is waiting for your next act of faith. My beloved child, there is more happening when you say yes than you can possibly see. Your yes is not a small, isolated sound that fades into the air. It echoes in heaven. It moves through the unseen realm. It signals alignment. It activates purpose. It releases momentum. When you agree with my will, when you choose obedience over hesitation, something powerful takes place. You may feel it as a simple decision, but in the spirit, it resounds like a declaration. Imagine a vast valley surrounded by mountains. When you speak into it, your voice travels bouncing from peak to peak. It carries farther than you expect. In the same way, your yes carries beyond the moment you speak it. Heaven responds to agreement. When you say yes to forgiveness, chains begin to loosen. When you say yes to courage, doors begin to open. When you say yes to stepping into your calling, resources begin to align. You do not walk alone in this decision. There are forces of light assigned to your growth. There is guidance positioned along your path. There is favor attached to obedience. But agreement is the key. You may underestimate your influence because you see only your immediate surroundings. You think your yes affects only you. But your obedience ripples outward. It strengthens those who observe your courage. It inspires those who witness your growth. It shifts environments that were once stagnant. My beloved, do not dismiss the authority of your decision. Every time you choose trust over fear, you reinforce your identity as one who walks by faith. Every time you respond quickly to my prompting, you deepen your sensitivity to my voice. Your spirit becomes sharper. Your discernment becomes clearer. There is joy in heaven when a heart aligns with my direction. Not because I need validation, but because alignment brings life. It restores harmony. It advances purpose. Your yes is a partnership. It says, I trust you. It says, I am willing. It says, I will not let fear dictate my future. And when you speak that yes, strength meets you. You may not feel immediate fireworks, but you will feel a shift. A subtle peace, a quiet clarity, a steadiness that was not present before. That is the ego. That is heaven acknowledging your agreement. My beloved child, I am not waiting for you to be perfect. I am waiting for you to be willing. Perfection is not the requirement. Alignment is. Your yes does not have to be loud. It does not have to impress anyone. It can be whispered in prayer. It can be spoken in solitude. It can be declared quietly in your heart. But once it is spoken, it sets things in motion. Do not take your decision lightly. You carry more spiritual authority than you realize. Your agreement with my will carries weight. When you hesitate, that echo is delayed. When you decide, it resounds immediately. Heaven is attentive to your response. My beloved, let your yes rise today. Let it be sincere. Let it be decisive. Let it be unburdened by endless analysis. Say yes to the growth you have been resisting. Say yes to the healing you have been postponing. Say yes to the calling you have been questioning. And know that as you do, your yes echoes far beyond what your natural eyes can see. It echoes in heaven, and heaven moves in response. My beloved child, I know one of the quiet fears that lingers in your heart. It whispers, I have wasted too much time. I delayed too long. I missed my moment. You look back at years that feel unproductive, at opportunities you let pass, at seasons where hesitation ruled your decisions. Regret tries to convince you that it is too late. But hear me clearly, I am not limited by your timeline. I am the one who weaves redemption into delay. I am the one who restores what feels lost. Time surrendered to me is never wasted beyond recovery. Yes, there were moments when you hesitated. Yes, there were opportunities you could have embraced sooner. But regret is not meant to chain you. It is meant to teach you. Once the lesson is learned, the weight can be released. I do not stand over you counting missed chances. I stand beside you offering renewed ones. Imagine a field that lay dormant for years. It was never planted properly. It remained untouched. But when the soil is finally tilled, when seeds are finally sown, growth can still happen. The years of inactivity do not permanently curse the land. They simply make the moment of action more significant. My beloved, restoration is part of my nature. When you act now, I compress what once seemed scattered. I align what once seemed delayed. I redeem what once seemed wasted. There are seasons when I accelerate growth to compensate for years of hesitation. There are times when doors open wider because you are finally ready to walk through them. You cannot change yesterday, but you can partner with me today. And when you do, I multiply your efforts. The enemy would love for you to remain paralyzed by regret, to keep replaying past failures, to keep telling yourself that you missed your chance. But that voice does not come from me. If I am urging you to act now, it is because now still holds promise. You may look at others and think they are ahead. You may measure your progress against theirs and feel behind. But comparison distorts perspective. You do not see their struggles. You do not know their timeline. You only see fragments. Trust that your journey is not late. It is unfolded. When I restore time, it does not always mean reliving the past. It means making your present so fruitful that the years behind you no longer feel empty. It means that what once felt like loss becomes foundation. My beloved child, do not carry the weight of if only. Do not anchor yourself in what could have been. Anchor yourself in what can still be. The moment you decide to move, you step into restoration. Opportunities may arise that seem perfectly timed. Connections may form that accelerate progress. Clarity may come swiftly. What once fell stalled begins to flow. This is not coincidence. It is redemption. I am able to do more in a short season of obedience than you could accomplish in years of striving alone. So do not let the past intimidate you. Let it inform you, but do not let it imprison you. You are not too late. You are not disqualified. You are not permanently behind. I am restoring lost time. As you act now, I will breathe upon your efforts. I will multiply what you place in my hands. I will align circumstances in ways you did not anticipate. Trust that your future is not defined by delay but by obedience. Step forward without regret. The years that felt wasted will become testimony. The delays that felt painful will become preparation. And you will see that even what seemed lost was never beyond my reach to restore. My beloved child, I speak to you now with both tenderness and clarity. The door before you is open, but it will not remain open forever. This is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to awaken you. Timing matters. Seasons shift. Opportunities move. There are moments in life when grace creates a wide opening. Circumstances align. Hearts are ready. Resources are available. Strength is present. But just as seasons change from spring to summer, so opportunities transition as well. If a farmer refuses to harvest when the crop is ripe, the fruit will not wait indefinitely. It will spoil on the vine, not because the farmer was hated, but because the season passed. In the same way, when I create a window for movement, it carries a rhythm. There is a flow to it. If you step through, you experience the fullness of what was prepared. If you delay too long, the conditions may shift. This is why I urge you to act quickly. Not because I am impatient, not because I am demanding perfection, but because I understand the nature of timing. You have sensed this urgency. It feels different from anxiety. It feels like clarity pressing gently against your heart. It feels like a quiet awareness that this is not a moment to postpone. My beloved, opportunities are living moments. They breathe. They evolve. They respond to engagement. When you step toward an open door, you cooperate with what has been prepared. When you hesitate endlessly, you risk watching it close quietly. Do not misunderstand me. Even if one door closes, I am still sovereign. I am still able to open others. But some doors are connected to specific seasons. Some invitations are tied to precise timing. You would not ignore a train that has arrived at the station and expect it to wait indefinitely while you decide whether to board. You understand that transportation operates on schedule. In the same way, divine moments carry movement. I am not threatening you with loss. I am inviting you into fullness. You have already felt the weight of delay in other areas of your life. You know what it feels like to look back and wish you had responded sooner. I do not want that regret for you now. The door is open. The invitation stands. The path is clear enough for the next step. Do not allow comfort to convince you that you have unlimited time. You are not being rushed into recklessness. You are being called into readiness. There is grace covering this moment. There is strength available for this decision. There is alignment supporting this movement. But grace for today is meant to be received today. My beloved child, act while the opportunity breathes. Speak while the conversation is possible. Step while the ground is steady. Forgive while the heart is soft. Begin while the momentum is building. If you wait until every doubt disappears, the season may shift. Trust that you are ready enough. Trust that I would not place you before this door without preparing you to walk through it. The door will not stay open forever, but it is open now. Let this awareness awaken decisive faith within you. Let it move you beyond hesitation. Let it propel you into action. For when you step through while the door stands open, you will experience the fullness of what this season was designed to bring. Do not delay. The moment is here. My beloved child, you have listened. You have reflected. You have felt the stirring grow stronger within you. Now everything comes to this moment. Decide today, not tomorrow. Not when conditions feel easier. Not when every doubt fades. Today, there comes a point when contemplation must give way to commitment. You cannot stand at the crossroads forever. The longer you remain there, the more restless your spirit becomes. The tension you feel is not confusion. It is the weight of a decision waiting to be made. You have gathered enough understanding. You have received enough confirmation. You have sensed my direction repeatedly. What remains is not clarity but courage. Decision is powerful because it draws a line between who you were and who you are becoming. When you decide, you shift from possibility into action. You move from intention into participation. You stop rehearsing the idea of change and begin living it. My beloved, I am not asking you to know every detail of what lies ahead. I am asking you to commit to the next step. That is all. The entire journey is not required today. Only your agreement to move. You may fear making the wrong choice, but indecision drains far more from you than a faithful step ever could. Even if adjustments are needed along the way, movement keeps you growing. Stagnation keeps you stuck. There is strength available to you the moment you decide. Think of a ship that has been anchored in the harbor for years. The crew has prepared it. The sails are repaired. The supplies are loaded. But until the anchor is lifted, the ship goes nowhere. Preparation means nothing without departure. Your anchor is hesitation. Lift it. Decide that you will forgive. Decide that you will begin. Decide that you will speak. Decide that you will release. Decide that you will trust. Once the anchor rises, even if the wind is gentle at first, you begin to move. My beloved child, I see the greatness within you. I see the courage waiting to be activated. I see the impact your obedience will carry. Do not let another day pass in uncertainty. You are not as fragile as your fear suggests. You are not as unprepared as your doubts claim. You are not as behind as your regrets whisper. You are ready enough for today's decision, and I am with you in it. When you decide, heaven responds. When you commit, grace meets you. When you step forward, strength flows. There is something freeing about a firm decision. It silences the endless debate in your mind. It brings focus to your energy. It clarifies your direction. No more circling. No more saying someday. Let today be the turning point you remember. The day you chose courage over comfort. The day you chose obedience over delay. The day you chose trust over fear. My beloved, I am not forcing your hand. I am inviting your heart. Decide today that you will walk through the open door. Decide today that you will break the cycle. Decide today that you will rise higher. Decide today that you will move. And once you decide, do not look back at hesitation as though it still has authority over you. It does not. This is your moment of commitment. This is your step into alignment. This is your day to choose. Decide today. My beloved child, you have walked with me through every word of this message. You have felt the urgency. You have sensed the invitation. You have heard my call to move, to trust, to release, to rise. Now we stand at the closing of this moment, but not at the end of your journey. This is the beginning of your action. I have not spoken to stir emotion alone. I have spoken to awaken decision. You were never meant to live in delay. You were never meant to circle the same mountain of hesitation. You were created to move with purpose, to act with courage, to trust with confidence. Everything I have said to you flows from love, not pressure, not condemnation. Of a father calling his child into fullness, a creator inviting his creation into alignment. I see who you are becoming. I see the strength rising within you. I see the doors prepared ahead of you. Now act. Step through the door while it stands open. Break the cycle while grace empowers you. Release the weight while freedom is within reach. Decide and move forward without looking back. And as you do, remember this. What I am building in you is not for you alone. When you respond to my voice, light spreads. When you walk in obedience, others find courage. When my word goes forth, hearts awaken across the earth. This is why this mission matters. When you sow into spreading my word through Super Thanks, through membership, or through the PayPal link placed in the description and shown in the QR code, you are not giving to a channel. You are planting seeds into souls. I declare to you as living truth, give, and it shall be given back to you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Your generosity becomes oil in lamps that are about to go out. Your obedience becomes bread multiplied in my hands to feed the hungry in spirit. I am stirring you even now. If this message has ignited your heart, let your response be immediate. Let your giving be prophetic. Let your action echo your faith. Do not delay what you know I'm prompting you to do. As you sow, I bless your household with provision, peace, and divine favor. Step into this partnership boldly and act now. My beloved child, I bless your decision. I bless your courage. I bless your obedience. May peace guard your heart. May clarity guide your steps. May acceleration follow your yes. May restoration redeem your past. May alignment steady your path. Walk forward without fear. Move quickly in trust. And know that I am with you always. Amen.